What's going on, brothers? This is your boy JT, and welcome back to another episode of South Stand Signings, a series, of course, where we go through everything happening in and around the world of Leeds United, and we have a little talk about it. And it is a little bit later today. I did record one last night, but the file corrupted, everything messed up, so we're back here this morning. And quite luckily, we're back here this morning because Leeds have actually been going ham jabronis over the past 3, 4, 5 hours. That is right, there is another 2, 3, 4 names that Leeds have not only been linked with, but Leeds have actually placed bids in for. Big news and developments coming up. So let's not waste any more of your time. Let's get straight into the meat of the action. Just quickly before we do get into the rest of the video, there are a hell of a lot more of you who have just joined us very recently since we've been doing these transfer videos. And as you'll see in these videos, we like to break down some statistics. However, one statistic that is brutally alarming is that 77.2% of you are not subscribed. We are moonwalking our way up there. So if you could please help support me, support you by smashing that subscribe button down below, then that would be very much appreciated. Now, on to the rest of the video. Bang! The first name coming out of Leeds United is this man, Romeo Lavoie. That is right, Leeds now want to sign rare talent in the midfield after the Roca deal is completed, with the parent club reluctant to sell him. Now, who are the parent club? The parent club in question are, of course, Manchester City. Now, why is this relevant? Obviously, they don't want to let go of one of their most prized youth assets, or rather their most prized midfield assets. However, they obviously are going to be willing to do it if it means they can get Kalvin Phillips as a potential replacement for him, i.e. use it to sweeten the deal, knock 10-15 million pounds off your Phillips asking price, and we'll slide you this youngster instead. Now, that's the only thing right now that is kind of throwing me off a little bit. But we move on. The Athletic report that the pair are set to battle it out to try and sign the talented midfielder from the Etihad Stadium. That pair, of course, being Leeds United and Southampton. City's interest in Leeds' talisman Kalvin Phillips is also tied up in the process, with Guardiola's side hopeful that Lavia could offset some of the cost of the England international. Exactly, which is why Southampton don't really have a shot if we do actually go in for Romeo Lavoie. Perhaps Lavia could be Phillips' replacement at Ellen Road, although there are still work to be done before the midfielder joins the champions. Lavia is a young player who plenty of Leeds fans may not know much about, but the former City skipper Vincent Kompany does, and he has been impressed by what he has seen from the 18-year-old midfielder, saying he picked up a lot and showed aggressive ball recovery. He was also very calm on the ball. You need that in possession, I presume he means, and Lavia also has what Pep Guardiola is looking for, which is obviously good, because we need someone that can potentially break up the play as well as looking very comfortable in the holding midfield role. Now, obviously, he would go straight into the youth setup, which is where he has predominantly featured for Manchester City, making 19 appearances in the Premier League 2 for them, scoring 1 goal and getting 2 assists. Not exactly the most prolific of midfielders, but he is obviously someone who is kind of okay, don't shoot me for saying this, a Paul Scholes type, you know, in that he controls the tempo of the game, he dictates the speed of the game, the way things are going, obviously at a much lower level, and obviously from me seeing limited exposure of the guy, but he does seem like a real talent. And for me, the only reason they're really willing to let him go is so that they can get Kalvin Phillips in the process. Now, would you guys be happy with him if it's between him and a Sonny Perkins, for example? Would you rather us go for him? The only thing I'm kind of feeling is if they really fleece us in the Phillips negotiations and say that they're going to pay like 45 million pounds and then give us Lavia, I'm not sure. If they're paying 55 to 60 million pounds and then they throw Lavia in, then maybe I think it could be a good deal. Then maybe I think it could be worth a punt. But what do you guys think about this one? Let me know down below. Now, another midfielder that is a very good potential replacement for Kalvin Phillips that Leeds United have been looking at is the Sheffield United man, Sander Berge. That is right, I've heard a lot of you guys banging on about Sander Berge for the past couple of weeks, especially your man Conor McGilligan. Shout out to you, and it looks like we might be finally going for your man, the man you dubbed as a Rolls Royce of a midfielder. We might finally be going going in for him. That is right. With Phillips being tipped to join Manchester City for around £50 million, Leeds have set their sights on the £25 million midfielder Sander Berge. That is right. According to Give Me Sport, Leeds have put Sander Berge on their list of potential Calvin Phillips replacements. It is claimed that the Blades could accept a fee of around £25 million for the midfielder. Berge was outstanding last season when United just missed out on promotion, having played in more of an attacking role under Paul Heckingbottom, and it seems Leeds view him more as a deeper midfielder. Berge plays that way for Norway and was signed by Chris Wilder initially as an Ollie Norwood replacement. United CEO Stephen Bettis has apparently come out saying the club is under no pressure to sell. However, he did admit every player has a price tag, and Berge could look to push for a move through if Leeds' interest firms up. Now, Sander Berge. We've had a lot of talk about potential Calvin Phillips replacements or supplements to Calvin Phillips in that midfield. Most notoriously, Tyler Adams. We've also looked at Roca, who it does look like we're going to sign. We've also looked at Rodrigo de Paul, which we're obviously never going to sign. Well, maybe 1 in a million chance. And we've looked at Lewis O'Brien. Now, Sander Berge. Where does he fit in your list of priorities for that Calvin Phillips mould of a midfielder? Do you think Sander Berge and Roca in the midfield together quench your thirst? Or do you want to bring Sander Berge and a Tyler Adams in? Sander Berge and a Lewis O'Brien in. Bring a couple in. Give us some extra options. I think we do. I think if we go for a Sander Berge, I'd like to see either a Tyler Adams or more likely a Lewis O'Brien come alongside him. So we do have an extra option. Obviously, with Roca being quite injury prone himself, Forshaw being quite injury prone himself, we can't really afford to have another situation where the only backup midfielder we have to slot in there is Adam Forshaw, who we can't trust to stay fit for an entire season. We need another backup in the midfield where we are very, very weak right now. And I think Sander Berge and Lewis O'Brien, although I really don't want to lose Calvin Phillips, but hey, Leeds are at least going about this the right way and we're moving quick and fast apparently. But where does Sander Berge fit in your guys' potential replacements for him? Now, another player Leeds are very keen to sign, and another player that we have spoken a hell of a lot about on this channel is of course Gonzalo Palazza, and the attacker is wanted by Leeds United, with the Whites willing to pay a juicy salary in order to achieve the player. Leeds United and Fulham have showed interest in Sporting's Gonzalo Palazza. The Spanish club Real Valladolid, who achieved promotion to La Liga thanks to Gonzalo Palazza's services last year, have so far been unable to meet that £10 million or €10 million fee that they have been offered to sign him due to financial struggles that have been placed upon him. This is where the door has opened to other clubs. However, apparently Leeds may have just been pipped over by Fulham in the chase for him. This is according to Diario de Valladolid, who question why the 21-year-old would give up a €2 million annual salary offered by Fulham, and the Cottagers are apparently close to formalising a €9.9 million offer. The Ecuador international and his representatives don't favour a move to Fulham. They felt the same for Real Betis. Another club have to come forward for the attacker, so it does seem like Fulham aren't really offering that liquid gold. They may be offering some green cashola, but in terms of actually drawing him over, Leeds are still very much in the race for him. Plata is apparently wanted by Leeds United, and it is their intention to sign him, and the Whites are willing to pay €10.4 million to Sporting. Jesse March's side are also ready to offer a quoted juicy salary of €2 million per year to the attacker, which, if I do some quick maths over here, that's €38,000 per week, which if I'm going to do some more quick maths, is probably about £34,000 per week, which is quite a lot for Gonzalo Palazza, considering Leeds don't spend too much on our players. But the fact we're willing to go that big on him shows we clearly rate him a lot. But where does he fit in your list of potential priorities? I'll tell you someone who lists higher in the potential priorities of not only maybe some fans now, but for the club, and that is PSG forward Arnaud Kalimuendo. If I'm not butchering that name, I really hope I'm not. And that is because Leeds have made an offer for Paris Saint-Germain's Armin Kalimuendo, understood to be in the region of 20 million euros. That is right. We have made an offer from out of nowhere. We have thrown a Hail Mary Paris Saint-Germain's way, offering 20 million euros. Obviously, he hasn't been playing at Paris Saint-Germain. He's actually been on loan at Lens for the past couple of seasons, where he has a scoring rate of a goal every 3 games. And this looks like it could just be our new striker. Obviously, we've been looking heavily at Castellanos, and it looked like we were eventually waiting to pull the trigger on him. However, when we were speaking about this, I was saying the fact that we haven't actually gone in for him yet, and it seems like we're only a few £1,000,000 off his valuation, and bear in mind his valuation didn't seem to be any higher than 20 million euros. What is holding us back? And maybe it was that we weren't that interested in him, because we've apparently now thrown a 20 million euro bid for Paris Saint-Germain's Arnaud Kalimuendo. Looking into the stats of Arnaud Kalimuendo, in 34 Ligue 1 appearances last year for Lens, he scored 12 goals. And 12 goals in 34 games seems pretty good, but it's not maybe the most overly impressive stat. However, the place where it does get a little bit more impressive is by minutes wise. He was scoring a goal every 2 games as opposed to a goal every 3 games actually match wise. And he was scoring a goal every 181 minutes. Now, why this is interesting is because if you compare this to Patrick Bamford's stats last season, where he was absolutely banging for us, 17 goals and 8 assists in 38 appearances, he got a goal every 180 minutes. So he's only 1 minute behind Patrick Bamford, and this could be a very seamless transition over to Leeds United. He's a young French forward. He is scoring goals once every 2 games. It's a very, very good record, and we've gone in for him very, very quickly. However, Victor Orta may have launched an opening 17 million pound bid, but the fee or the deal for Kalimuendo is meant to be very, very difficult. Apparently, PSG are said to be amenable to a deal. However, negotiations with the Ligue 1 giants could also be very complicated. The French club want a series of clauses built into any agreement to sell Kalimuendo, I think. PSG want to reportedly include a buyback option in any deal, as they rate him very highly. Kalimuendo played through the middle for the majority of last season at Lens, but could also operate on the left wing. That versatility may be very useful for March next year, with the strong prospect of losing Rafinha, while Jack Harrison has also been linked with a move away from Ellen Road, although we don't think that's going to happen anymore. If Leeds do sign Kalimuendo, he will unlikely be the only forward arriving at the club this summer. Now that is very, very, very exciting if you ask me. That's right, I was talking with Joe and Max yesterday, and they were saying, I reckon we'll only go for 1 or 2 more signings. I'm telling you, man, I'm feeling a big summer here at Leeds United. I think we could go for another 4 or 5 signings, especially if we do lose Rafinha and or Calvin Phillips. Now, the thing that's really alarming me here is the fact that they want a buyback option on him. Buyback option for me, not a negotiable asset. I do not want a buyback option, even if it means we have to pay 5 extra million pounds. Unless if that buyback option is 100 million pounds or something in the region of that, just in case he does turn into an absolute world beater. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with it at all, because 1 or 2 things is going to happen when you get a player. Either you're going to be able to keep him and he's going to be very important for your long-term plans, or you're going to be able to sell him on for a very, very big fee. It's going to be completely in your power and you can reinvest that money. Having a buyback option on him, it kind of makes the whole move semi-permanent instead of fully permanent, and it just kind of kills the whole thing for me personally. But what do you guys think about that one? Would you be willing to sign him with a buyback fee in his clause? I don't know. Let me know. And speaking of a player not having a buyback option in his clause, and a player who we could be selling and reinvesting the funds for, journalist issues worrying Rafinha update. That is right. According to transfer insider Dean Jones, Rafinha is gagging for a move away. Apparently, the fact that Barcelona's moves for him have derailed has not swayed his interest from leaving Leeds United. Obviously, with Arsenal, Tottenham and Chelsea all holding strong strong interest. And apparently he comes out saying Rafinha is almost certain to be gone. He's open to literally everything at the moment, to be honest with you, from what I'm hearing. Now, this is not good at all. Rafinha, he played a massive role in keeping us in the Premier League, but it does look like he is going to be gone. What I am happy about is that Leeds are apparently standing firm with a £60 million valuation, but it does look like he is going to be gone and he's willing to go anywhere. And one man we could just replace him with is, of course, Adama Traore, being touted by some as Dan James on steroids, however by others as a liquid velvet dribbler on the ball. And according to Team Talk, Wolves could accept less than £20 million for the Spanish international this summer, which does seem like a little bit of a steal for me. Now, if you're talking Adama Traore coming in, if you're talking Castellanos coming in, and Kalimuendo coming in as a few signings, and then we lose Rafinha, I think that is a very good way of bolstering up the squad. However, you are looking at a very high influx of wages coming into the squad as well there. So we do have to worry about our wage bill going up, although we should have money to try and counteract that, because we haven't really spent so much recently, so we should have the money to increase our wage bill a little bit. But those moves do look exciting to me. Let me know what you guys think about all of those ones down in the comments section down below. But for now, guys, I have been your boy JT. It has been another episode of Southdown Signings, another liquid episode of Southdown Signings with a lot to talk about. Let me know which one of those interests you the most down in the comment section down below. But for now, I will see you very, very soon. Au revoir, my brothers and my sisters.